Hi there, it's me Audrina here, and as a change to my usual chapters from Where Did Your Heart Go, I thought I would tempt you and tease you with chapter 1 of Bloodstained Heart, part 1, Passion, in the attempt that you might want to read the book before I bring the second part out, which is called Revenge, later on this year. So here we go, chapter 1. It's 1978. She trailed into the room, staring at the ridiculous white dress that her mum was wearing. As if anyone would believe she was virginal after being married, divorced, and with a daughter in tow. She gazed ahead at the tall, straight man waiting next to the registrar. He was wearing a smart suit, tie, and his blonde hair was slicked back. A younger clone of him stood to the one side, apparently his son, who now lived with his ex-wife, but had been brought along to act as best man. Dragging her wedged shoes and trying not to scratch the itchy lace sleeves that flounced at the cuffs, the halo of flowers in her long dark hair was threatening to slip down over her fringe and into her eyes. Thankfully the congregation was small in the room. Her grandparents had refused to attend, which just left her mum's best friend Cecilia and husband Jed, and another couple who Felicity didn't know. She stood next to her mum and drifted off as they exchanged vows and became Mr. and Mrs. Then it was back out into the weak April sunlight and an awkward car journey to the restaurant next to the silent son of the man her mother had married. He was her new stepbrother. "So, what's your dad like?" she stammered. "Rich," was his monosyllabic reply. "Are you coming to live with us?" "No chance, I'm better off with Mum." Turned away and stared out of the window. Felicity fiddled with her cuffs and let her mind dwell on her new boyfriend, Philip. He had just started at the comprehensive, and all the girls fancied him, but she had been the lucky one. Her glossy dark mane of hair and shapely developed figure was the lure to entice. She was still a virgin, having witnessed the car crash of her mother's first marriage due to their unplanned pregnancy. That was not going to happen to her. She wanted to progress, pass her exams and start earning money. Felicity Jennings was going to be somebody. During the meal, her new stepfather broke the news. "So Felicity, while your mother and I are on honeymoon for the week, we need you to start packing. You're moving into my house and we'll be starting at the nearby girls' school in a fortnight." Her mother beamed at her across the table. "Isn't that fantastic news? It's such a great school, and only a short bus journey from our new home." Felicity gaped at the proposal, too stunned to really take it all in. "Why can't I stay at my college? I like it there. I have friends. I have exams soon." Her face was stony, the blue-grey eyes like slates on a roof. "We're moving 40 miles away, so you have no choice in the matter. I pulled a lot of strings and made a huge donation to get you into that school, so I don't want any more moaning from you, young lady. You're my daughter now, and defiance and disobedience have no place in my home." He moved his eyes to her mother, gripping her hand tightly on the tabletop. It was like he was trying to reinforce this with her as well as her daughter. The rest of the meal passed in silence. Felicity fumed. Her mother glowered and simpered to the man next to her. His stepson ate the food and then left to take a taxi home. "I booked a taxi for you, Felicity. Your mother and I will stay here for the night before our flight to Amsterdam tomorrow. She tells me you're a good, intelligent girl, so I know that this new start in your education will be for the best. A girls' school will rid you of the distraction of boys." Felicity stared straight into his eyes, seething inside at the way he was talking to her. She wished her real dad was still around, but he'd just up and left one day, nearly 12 years ago. Her mum hadn't wasted time hooking up with several guys before Malcolm arrived on the scene and started taking her out to fancy restaurants in his flash car. She'd hardly been at home over the last few months, and now the wedding had completely uprooted her world. Driving away from the hotel, she stared out of the back window of the taxi, watching her mother wave until it left the driveway. Getting home, she found a note pushed through the letterbox from Philip. "Can you sneak out? I've missed you today. I'll wait for you in our usual spot." Inside, she changed into her bell-bottom jeans and jumper, then with a slick of lip gloss she left the house. taking great pleasure in ripping the crown of flowers from her hair and flinging it into the nearby tree. It hung there looking like a late Christmas decoration as it floated in the breeze. The park was empty apart from Philip, sitting on one of the swings. A plume of smoke rose from the cigarette in his fingers. She skipped towards him in the dusk light. He was 19 to her 17, and over 6 foot. He stood up and waited to enfold her in his arms. "Oh, I thought you'd still be in your bridesmaid dress." "Oh, no, that peach concoction was awful. Look, it's given me a rash on my arms from the lacy sleeves." He let her go so she could push up her jumper sleeves to show him. "Oh, baby." He stooped to kiss her elbow before trailing more down to her wrist. Her breath caught in her throat as her heart raced to his touch. They'd been together for nearly a month now, and things were getting hotter between them each time they met. "Hey, can I pinch a fag? I need it after the day I've just had," she said. He took her hand and they wandered along to the nearest bench. He lit one, took a drag and then passed it to her. Their fingers touching, striking lightning bolts of desire through her veins. "Come on, babe, it can't be that bad. Didn't you say your new stepdad was loaded?" "Yeah, but I'm moving away in a week's time, 40 fucking miles away to a new girls' school." She took a deep drag and then coughed on the smoke as it caught the lump in her throat. She passed it back to him and smiled, despite the despair she was feeling. The situation seemed hopeless before she'd even started to get to know the man who was now married to her mum. They shared the cigarette, and then when he stubbed it out she leaned back into his arms. "Well, if your mum's on honeymoon, why don't I walk you home?" "OK. We can make out there instead of getting chilly on this bench." At the door Felicity hesitated, remembering her mum's warnings about being home alone with a boy. "Look, I'm not sure I'm in the right mood after today." "Bet I could persuade you," he whispered, his lips trailing down her neck so that she arched back into him. OK, just for an hour." Felicity found a can of lager and they shared it on the sofa. "This is better." "Yeah, I guess." Phil ran his hand up the leg of her jeans and then beneath her jumper. His lips captured her and she nestled down against the velour material, the weight of him upon her forcing the breath from her lungs. His hungry hands slipped beneath her bra, feeling her nipples spring to attention. "You're so sexy, please let me see you," he breathed, as his teeth nibbled her ear. I'm not ready yet," she whispered. "Oh, I think you are. I can feel you beneath me." His comment focused her mind onto the pressing cock that was straining beneath the confines of his jeans. She pushed against his bulk, hoping he would release her from his weight. "Not yet, please." She pushed again as his hands grabbed tight hold of her breasts, squeezing them so tightly that it hurt. "You're hurting me," she shouted, hoping to break him from the urges he was following. His mouth silenced her, his tongue forcing into her mouth, filling it and preventing any further sound escaping. She arched against him, but he took it as a sign that she'd changed her mind, letting his one hand reach to undo the belt on her jeans. Something inside Felicity snapped and she jerked her knee up, knocking his hand away and catching his erection at the same time. It was his turn to groan as he let go of her breasts and collapsed back to cup his wounded member. "You prick teaser, you flirt, you can't just keep leading me on and then telling me no." "Well, fine. If that's the way you feel, then get out. Fuck off and leave me alone." "I will." He stood up and stormed out of the lounge. She pulled her jumper down on the cool air, as the cool air touched her sore nipples. "Yeah, don't bother coming back. We're over. Finished," she spat as the front door slammed shut. Then, as the anger seeped away, she started to shake, the shock of the day's events catching up with her in one fell swoop. The house around her was silent except for the sobs she let escape. She climbed the stairs and snuggled under her bedcovers. Her hands reached up to cover her aching breasts that felt like they were still in a vice-like grip. She caught a look at the photo on her bedside table, taken at her 5th birthday. Her dad holding her hand in his, a balloon in the other, and a broad grin on both their faces. Happy, carefree days before the fallout began. She missed him every day and knew that one day soon she would find him again. Wow, does she? That is a good question. So what happens to Felicity next? Is she going to enjoy life at the posh girls' school, or is she going to rebel, or just what is she going to do? And to find out the answer to that question, I'm afraid you're going to have to read the book. And don't worry, it's available on Amazon for Kindle. If you're on KU, it's absolutely free to download, so why not? And if you're not on KU, then it's only, I think it's $2.99 or about £2.20 in this country, in the UK. So oh, go on, it's you know, less than a cup of coffee really when you think about it, and you can read about the person that Felicity becomes. Anyway, hope that's kind of tempted you into it. Don't forget, I have 3 other novels in the Heart trilogy available for you to buy. Just pop along and have a look at my Amazon page, or you can find them all on www.audrinalane.co.uk. Anyway, thanks for listening, hope you enjoyed it, and maybe this is the next book that I'll read. Who knows? I'll see you again. Bye bye for now.